remember what you were thinking or feeling the last time you donated to a cause? I'd wager most of us probably aren't thinking about it in the moment, but under the surface, psychology is inspiring us to give. If you're out there raising money for a nonprofit or a cause, it's important to understand this psychology, these motivations, why people give. If we can understand these things, maybe, just maybe, we can inspire more contributions. Welcome or welcome back. I'm Amber Melanie Smith. I'm a nonprofit founder, social entrepreneur, and social impact YouTuber making these videos and 250 plus others on my channel, all about fundraising, nonprofits, recruiting volunteers, inspiring your community to take action, social issues, and more. Don't forget to check out the rest of my videos, subscribe to this content if you find it valuable, and check out my website, changemakercafe.com, where I have lots more resources for you in your social impact journey. I also have a weekly newsletter, Changemaker Mondays, with tips and strategies I send out every week to help you in your change-making journey, as well as sometimes funding opportunities to help fuel your good work. I'm going to talk about some of the top reasons people give money to charity in this video, and I hope that it helps you in your own fundraising. Let's do this. Okay, so you might be surprised to learn that a majority of charitable contributions, about 85% according to recent research, occurs because somebody asked. But Amber, you're probably thinking, if it's as simple as that, why aren't we getting more donations? We ask all the time. Thing is, we're missing some data here. The being asked thing doesn't include other details like asked by whom, when, or in what situation. That is where other donor motivations across a broad spectrum from altruistic to self-interested might come into play. Numerous studies have examined donor motivations in an effort to help causes understand how they can better inspire people to give and participate. I'm going to compile some of the top lessons I've learned by going through several of these studies, as well as some of my own personal observations and experiences from fundraising. I'm going to start with a top reason people donate, and I've talked about this in other videos, but that reason is they trust you. The thing is, people donate when people ask them to, but not just any people. Usually it's someone they know or have a relationship with, or someone they believe has a high level of authority or credibility on the subject. In other words, people they trust. And this is a hard truth, but not everyone trusts nonprofits and charities. You probably know some people out there who've made comments like, I don't think they're going to use that money wisely. And the fact is, a couple of negative stories in the news sometimes alter the perceptions of the public on how nonprofits operate in general. So it's important that we inspire and reinforce trust along the way as fundraisers. Sometimes it feels overwhelming for a donor to read every word on your website or look through all of your impact reports. A shortcut to knowing that their donations are going to be used meaningfully and responsibly is simply they trust the person asking. A couple things you can do to make sure you're building and maintaining trust include auditing your communications. First, are you transparently sharing information about what's going on in your organization, the impacts, how funding is being used, and why? Are you forming and deepening relationships with other people in your community? All of these things can help make sure that you are tapping into trust as a donor motivation. Did you know? Research shows that using video is among the most effective tools that nonprofits can use to inspire donations. It makes perfect sense to me. Using video makes the message feel more personal and can inspire that trust that we've been talking about. In one study, 57% of people who watched a nonprofit's video went on to donate. That is why I love the Pledge TV video fundraising feature and the other features that are all part of the fundraising platform of this video sponsor, Click and Pledge. Click and Pledge is a comprehensive fundraising platform for nonprofits ready to raise money and grow. Unlike other platforms that might charge more as your organization grows and based on its size, Click and Pledge keeps pricing the same and completely transparent. There are no contracts, and all of their solutions are included at no extra cost. They've got a variety of innovative solutions, from donation forms to donor outreach, text to give, peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns, and a complete Salesforce integration and more. So here's one thing that I thought was super cool about the Pledge TV video fundraising feature. Instead of posting a video on social media and hoping people will go click on the link in your bio or in the video description, with the Pledge TV feature, you can actually include a link directly embedded in the video itself for people to donate, and even track the exact timestamp people were on when they decided to donate. So you can learn what parts of the video were most inspiring. There's also this pay-to-play feature where you can give people who donate exclusive access to special content when they donate. So I highly encourage you to check them out. If you're curious about Click and Pledge's Pledge TV video fundraising and other features that I mentioned here, don't forget to check out the links below this video. You're going to find a couple of things. The first link is going to be a link to schedule a free demo if you want more information about this very robust solution for your cause. And the other link is going to be a free month access for you. If you register, you can get that first month at no cost. So be sure to check those out. Thanks again to Click and Pledge for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about a second reason that people donate in this assessment of donor psychology, and that is social proof. Here's the thing. People want to get into the house where the party is happening. This social proof concept applies to a lot of things in the lives of us as humans, but donating is not an exception to this. If others appear to be excitedly and joyfully contributing to your cause, that signals to other people that that is an action that is worth taking. That is basically how social proof works. But there's some nuance here. If done incorrectly, it can backfire. I don't know if you've ever heard of the bystander effect, but fascinatingly, in one study, 100 people standing in a room together were asked to donate, and fewer people did because they assumed someone else in the room was going to take care of it. So to make this one work and utilize it in your fundraising strategy, you want to showcase examples of lots of people supporting your work, just maybe not while they're all standing in the same room. A couple of ways to achieve this include having donors provide testimonials. So this one donor saying awesome things about your cause, so maybe I should make a donation to the cause. So that's a great method. Social media shout outs, acknowledging donors if you have their permission to do so, always check. You might consider putting phrases on your donation webpage that say something like, join 342 others in supporting our work to improve education. So you might have even seen this on like sales web pages or other like business web pages, but the idea is you're showing that lots of people are in on this. You want to get in on this too. With nonprofits, you want to make sure that you're focusing on the end result, that outcome, that social impact. So you'll notice I said join others in the work of improving education. So that is the result of the people coming together that you want to hone in on in your messaging. The third donor psychology motivation I want to talk about is reciprocity. Now, if a donor or someone they know personally has benefited from your organization, that might inspire a sense of loyalty or reciprocity that would cause them to make a contribution. We especially see this in like animal rescue organizations. If you have had an improvement to your life because you've added a furry friend to your family, you might feel grateful to the organization that rescued that pet. So that might be an example of reciprocity at work. The key here is to not discount your program participants as potential donors. Now, obviously, this is very situational. Not all program participants are in a position to be donors, but sometimes it can really instill a sense of pride by being given the opportunity to support the organization that has made your life better. So what I would advise here is, at the very least, make your opportunity to donate visible to your participants. Doesn't have to be an assertive ask for funding. It could just be making sure that they have access to the opportunity to give. The fourth reason people might be motivated to give, according to psychology, is a sense of belonging. Now, this one is a little similar to social proof, but there are some differences. In this case, donors might want to give so that they feel like a part of the community, like they feel like something bigger than themselves. This might work really well if your nonprofit has a strong network, or maybe it's a membership group, or you have strong volunteer groups or supporter groups like advisory boards, etc. Some situation where your audience is gathering and have connections with each other. So if you already have a strong network where your audience is connected to each other, they are already feeling like they're part of a community, that's awesome. You might be able to tap into this reason for giving. If you don't have that and you're interested in tapping into this as a strategy, you might start by asking yourself, how can we build community with our organization? How can we bring people together to form relationships, to meet each other in person? Maybe we have a social event. Maybe we invite them to volunteer together. Think through all these reasons and methods that you might use to help people feel not just closer to your cause, but to each other. The fifth reason people give is identity alignment. So every person has this image of themselves that is ultimately shaped by their values and their beliefs. This is their identity. This is your identity. The self-proclaimed identity that we have can influence all sorts of actions that we would take, from what we eat to where we shop to how we vote, etc. The author James Clear, in his pretty famous book, Atomic Habits, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend, talks about how important identity is in shaping our likelihood to stick to habits and take other actions. Here's how identity plays out with donating. Some people might donate because they believe, and they want others to believe, that they are the type of person who would donate to that issue or cause. And thus, when they donate, it's reinforcing that belief about themselves and reinforcing that identity. How can we practically apply this to fundraising? Here's what I would say. You want to be able to understand the power of identity when it comes to figuring out who your potential donors are. Every organization should create a donor persona, or think of it like a user profile, right? What is the description or an example profile of the type of person who is likely to donate to your cause? Maybe it's someone who has kids and loves dogs. Maybe it's someone who is physically active and loves to go on trails and do hikes. It could be any number of characteristics, but if you can really understand this donor persona, or who your target audience is, then what you can do is you can shape your messaging to reach that type of person more effectively, and make sure your fundraising messaging is in the correct places in society where those types of people are more likely to see it. The sixth reason people donate, and it's a big one, is altruism and a sense of duty. This is kind of tied to identity, I think, because for some people, donating may be a moral obligation or an expression of their deepest values. They might say to themselves, well, donating is just the right thing to do. So applying this to fundraising, we have to think about what values our organization is operating by and how we're conveying those values to the public in our messaging and in our social media and in our emails, everything, right? If you want to attract people who believe X, like the world needs to be a more fair place, for example, then you want to make sure that your values are up front and center, talking about how you agree the world needs to be a more fair place. And the seventh and final reason we're going to talk about today about why people donate is simply, it feels good. There is so much research out there that talks about how when you give, you volunteer, you donate, you actually physically feel better. And fun fact, it also bolsters your reputation, which also makes you feel better. Psychology Today did this article where they talked about this motivation for giving, and they called it egoism. Now, I don't really like that word. It feels a little harsh to me. Personally, it doesn't bother me if someone else feels good when they're also helping a cause. As long as they're giving and participating in a way that is thoughtful and intentional, then that's great if they feel good too. So how do we tap into this with fundraising? It's pretty simple. Just make sure you're showing gratitude when people give. This, of course, helps them feel great. You gave them a nice little thank you. And it's just the right thing to do anyways, to be gracious to people who donate to your cause, but making sure that your donors hear it and feel appreciated can go a long way. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now that we've kind of done this crash course on donor psychology, what do you think? What are some of the reasons you've seen people give and in action in some of your own fundraising efforts? And did I miss any that you think are important? Share in the comments below. As always, I hope you found this interesting and valuable. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for all sorts of other content on fundraising, nonprofits, social entrepreneurship, other ways to make an impact, etc., etc. I'm Amber Melanie Smith. My website is changemakercafe.com, where you can find more resources to help you in your change-making journey. And that link to subscribe to my newsletter is also below this video. I hope to see you next time. Bye.